Ghost of Tsushima holds a special place in my gamer heart. When it came out, it was a breath of fresh air. It gave us an Assassin's Creed alternative that did Assassin's Creed stuff better than, well, Valhalla for sure. Turns out, Valhalla came out the exact same year as Tsushima. Hmm, look how that worked out. I was really excited when they announced the Ghost of Yotei. I could not wait to see what improvements Sucker Punch made to an already potent formula. When I first started Ghost of Yotei, I had the same feeling wash over me that I felt when I started the first game. The world was beautiful. And it's not just about the graphics. The world feels like a painting come alive. It's full of color, with flowers flying around, horses running through the fields as the sun peeks through the red leaf foliage. It's a world that draws you in and makes you want to explore all the secrets it holds. With the addition of the spyglass, finding points of interest is much more convenient here. You can just whip that bad boy out and mark all locations, shrines, altars, and hot springs you can spot. The wind that guides you to your marked location is still my personal favorite form of objective guidance in gaming. You just swipe up on your touchpad and the wind blows, guiding you to your marker. It is a subtle but effective way to navigate the world without forcing you to look at the small mini map on your screen as you run around. Gaining resolve, learning new techniques, and even new weapons are rewards for all your exploration. You can run around the world interacting with NPCs who either give you side quests or give you hints about a point of interest that you can go explore. As you move through the game, you explore new areas and encounter new enemies. Each area feels extremely unique and themed. Ishikari Plain is full of yellow and red tones, mirroring the fire wielding enemies and the Oni station there, whereas Teshia Ridge is a cold, snowy, and mountainous place, mirroring the Kitsune and its shinobis hiding, waiting to ambush you. There is also a lot of enemy variety in this game. You have your traditional katana wielding soldiers with different grades of armor on them, but as you progress through the game, you run into spear wielders, shield users, archers, gunners, chunky boys, dual axe wielders, and kasarigama users. Combat in this game is extremely fun and rewarding. This game ditches the stance mechanism of the first one and instead switches to a stone paper scissors like format where Atsu, or the player character, has 5 different weapons, with each weapon countering a specific enemy weapon. You can use the Kusarigama to shred shields or dual katana for spear wielders. Each weapon also has its own skill tree, along with unlockable moves that can be learned as part of side quests. They also introduce the ability to pick up enemy weapons off the rack or on the ground and throw them towards the enemies. This is a really quick way to break an enemy stance or to end them outright. This continuous dance of switching weapons to counter a specific enemy, using a special move to deal massive damage, and then picking their weapon up and throwing it at another oncoming enemy makes up a super satisfying combat loop. There are also throwable items and 2 different bows that you can utilize along with your main arsenal. One new feature that this game introduces is the bounty hunting feature. You can find bounty posters at specific parts of the world which you can pick up and track. All bounties hold their own stories. They are all different to each other, and most of them are very well written with good narrative arcs. Bounties generally end in boss fights where you get to play the rock, paper, scissors combat again with the weapon, or in many cases, weapons the enemy is holding. Enemies in this game can now also disarm you, and the player character can do the same to them too. If an enemy manages to disarm you, you can either switch to another weapon or roar around the battlefield until you pick your weapon back up. The standoff feature returns in this game, although you can no longer have 3 to 4 kills like you could in the first game. The player character also has an ally in a wolf that sometimes shows up in standoffs, combat, or to revive you if downed in combat. The frequency with which the wolf arrives at the scene depends on your bonding with the wolf, which in turn depends on how many wolf dens you have completed out in the open world. The player character also has a shamisen in this game, replacing Jin's flute from the first game. Exploring the open world gives you access to new songs, which, when played, can point to a specific point of interest like a bamboo strike or a hot spring that you have not discovered yet. Up to this point, you might think I have nothing but good things to say about this game, and the game is in fact flawless. But unfortunately, no, that's not the case. I have a few major gripes with the game, which, in my opinion, hold it back. These issues constantly broke my immersion, and if you haven't noticed, I have not said anything about the narrative yet. That's because the narrative is really generic and predictable. But that in itself is not an issue, it's how they have implemented it here. The backdrop of the story is that you play as Atsu, mercenary trying to kill the Yotei 6, led by Saito, who were responsible for killing her parents when she was just a child. For the first half of the story, the narrative is painfully predictable, and it's not until you reach the second half of the story that you see more dimensions to the Atsu character, and then there is more complexity to the story. The game gives you timed conversation choices, which in no way change the outcome of any side quest or the main story. This choice is really odd to me. The presence of time narrative decisions would indicate to me that the choice I make here would have some consequence. I'm fine with the narrative being linear. The Last of Us is linear and it does it really well. But The Last of Us does not give the player time narrative choices to choose from. It feels like the game is borrowing the illusion of choice from RPGs without actually committing to the consequences. Side quests in this game are siloed and self contained. They do not have any further ramifications on the world around you, or you do not see the consequences of their resolutions further into the narrative. Apart from the Matt Goro and Manjiro storylines, none of the side quests, at least in my experience, have continuity into other side quests. Even the overall narrative is unaffected by any of the dialogue choices you select through the game. The first half of the story, as I said, is straightforward and uninteresting. You are pretty much on a revenge path, trying to kill members of Yotei 6 in different areas of the map. It is not until the second half of the story that the game raises the stakes and adds more dimensions to the Atsu character. I do not want to pick the story apart too much because for me, either of the Ghost games do not have groundbreaking story elements. What they have instead is a world which is the primary focus for the players, and the story more or less takes a back seat. My main frustration with this game is the enemy AI during stealth sequences. This frustration is not new. The first game suffered from the same issue that this game does. They have not made any tangible upgrades to the enemy AI, especially in stealth. The AI is still unable to spot me crawling above their heads, even if I should be very much in their cone of vision. They do not care about their mates getting bonked near them, and unless you try to take someone out right next to them or right in front of them, you can walk away completely unscathed and unnoticed. In multiple instances, it just took me out of the immersion and made stealth the easiest and the most viable options most of the time. It was not the most fun though. The most fun thing to do was still walking into camps with the standoff mode and just brawling my way through them. Ghost of Yotei presents a more beautiful world to look at, with more things to do in the open world and more ways to approach enemy encounters. The addition of new combat techniques and varied areas with good enemy varieties and biomes does make the game fun, but poor enemy AI, generic narrative, and non player influence outcomes in side quests just hold this game back from being at the very, very top of gaming echelons. If you disagree, and I mean, come on, it's the internet, obviously you do, please leave a comment down below and we can have a civilized discussion involving some Yo Mama jokes. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you all in the next one. Stay safe and stay gaming.